I got called out on last week's video. I'm sorry if I hurt anybody. Last week's video I was on the couch doing this whole talk about a bunch of things. I should just show you the clip, and this happened. Right, on the surface it looks innocent, like nothing happened, but I got called out on the Discord channel. As you can see, we started talking about the video, me sitting on the couch, bragging about my couch. In my defense, I wasn't bragging, I'm just happy with the new couch. I wasn't bragging, but it is a pretty damn good couch. Never mind. This evolved into a question from Rohit. But be real, Pascal, were you playing anything on your PS or just smashing buttons? And this kind of evolved to me explaining it was fake. I'm sorry, the PlayStation controller wasn't connected to the PlayStation. It wasn't even on. But I have a good... I mean, the problem here is that if I had to do the PlayStation and boot it up, and then it would probably need 2 or 3 hours to install all the updates I haven't done in the last months. I wasn't even sure if my controller still had juice, so I probably had to charge that one, all for the 3 or 4 seconds of video. And I'm sorry, it was fake. I was just jiggling with the buttons, and I faked this. This was what I was doing. I'm sorry. Every now and then these videos just need to be made, and then some stuff need to be faked. That's how video creation works. But this week we're gonna do it all like real life, nothing fake, nothing... What?
Excuse me, can you talk about Regulator City in your video?
Sure, guy I never met who is sitting for real in my home office asking me a very good question. Very real guy asking a really good question. Let's talk about Regulator City after the intro, and great question. Are you leaving? All right. The real guy who is not faked is leaving. After the intro, we'll talk about Regulator City. For real. No fake stuff. Real video. All the way. Almost all the way. After the intro. So where are we with Regulator City? I haven't been talking about it on this channel for a couple of weeks now, doing all these other type of videos. A lot has changed, a lot has improved. I'm not gonna dive into all the tiny stuff that I've been tinkering with. Just trust me, the game has gotten a lot of improvements. It's really getting there. Let's start with the map view. I'm pretty happy with where the map view currently is, and I'm holding a controller, by the way, that isn't really doing anything, so let's drop that one. I'm pretty happy with where the game currently is with the city view. The only thing that's really missing in the city view is that the placing of buildings doesn't really affect anything or is part of anything. You can just place it anywhere, even though the player gets to select where you can actually place a certain building. It doesn't matter where you place it, and that seems like a lost opportunity. Right now I'm thinking about maybe some sort of territorial thing should happen. So pretty much if you place your headquarters, that territory, that block becomes yours, which means all the other blocks are part of either multiple gangs or just shown as gang affiliated. As some way we'll have to just try to maybe grab like 100% of the map as part of your territory. I'm not really sure on the details yet. That's pretty much the problem I'm facing right now. I have to figure out placing buildings in certain areas. How does that work? How does territorial stuff work? It's gonna be something to figure out, and of course even then, if it's just a territorial thing, if I place a building in one block, only that block becomes mine, but maybe we can do funny and smarter things like connect 4 or things like that. So if you have 4 corners and everything in between those 4 corners becomes yours. But on the other hand, that's very hard to explain to a gamer. So there's still some work left in figuring out an easy way, an interesting way that placing buildings actually make sense and where you place them. So it's game design. I have a bunch of ideas, or a couple of ideas that are just buzzing around in my head until I hopefully get to a point that I think, all right, this might work. We're gonna implement and program all the stuff around it, and hopefully it works. But there's no point in just working on ideas that are just so immature that they're not gonna work. I need a lot more details in my head or on paper or whatever before I dive into the code. But we'll get there. And of course, if you have ideas how placing buildings in certain areas might be affecting the whole gameplay, then do let me know, because I'm open for interesting ideas and suggestions. And you'll get your name in the credits if I'll actually use your idea or end up using it. So the gameplay itself, the missions have also been just so many little details and changes. I probably forgot most. I would have to check like 3 or 4 different to-do lists on that. The most recent thing I've been adding is proximity bomb type stuff. I'm actually working on it right now, besides the video. Started working on it yesterday. These bombs can be placed in the level editor. They will appear randomly in the level once you play the level. Your squad will freeze. They won't trigger it, they will keep away, but you can get near them. Then the bomb starts ticking and you'll actually have to make sure to deactivate it before it blows. And things like that actually make the indoor missions more interesting. So there will be more of these type of things. I just have to come up with them. But proximity bombs are a pretty good idea. So speaking of the gameplay, there has been a huge difference. Last week or the week before that, can't remember, the Among Us documentary came on the No Clip YouTube channel. I'll put a link somewhere in the description probably. It talked about Among Us and how the small team made this huge game and impact and everything around it, which was interesting. But for me, there was one tiny thing, and I played Among Us like maybe 2 or 3 times, just very briefly. I didn't have any friends to play with, so then the game fails, I think. It's probably more fun if you actually play it with people you know. I don't have time to know those people I was playing with randomly, so I just gave up on the game. But the game has tasks, and those tasks are like a couple of seconds long that allow you to do something, and then stuff can happen around you, which for that game is interesting. But for Regulator City, that's also a very interesting thing and concept. So I started tinkering with that. I have a bunch of events in the game already. Right now they would show a little progress indicator above your head that filled up and then you were done. But I wanted to replace those with tasks and see how they went. And it went pretty well. Tasks I came up with are very simple. This isn't like a big puzzle or a big mini game. It's just a simple thing that you can do, and that's very intuitive. So you know what to do and understand it, and it's done in like literally 5, maybe 6 seconds, and then you're back in the gameplay or back in the other gameplay, because this is part of the gameplay now. Let me just show you some of the tasks. The first one I implemented was placing explosives. This is a new thing I also added to the game. You can now have a mission where you need to place explosives at certain spots, and then before the time runs out, make sure you get out of that building. Placing those explosives is now one of these tasks. It's very simple, place it in the right spot. There's a little bit of push back from the controller and the game, so you really have to work for it, but it's very simple, very easy. Everybody can do this. It's very obvious and intuitive, I think. So place that explosive and done. Another task is very simple, push the button to open the door. It's just, like I said, these tasks are very simple, very intuitive, but they do add a lot to the gameplay. It's a lot more fun now running into these buildings and not just running around, gunning around, but actually doing stuff. You're now actually on a mission. You actually feel like you're doing something, contributing to the mission. Another one is data collection. Even though one of your team members or squad members will actually perform the task, you as a player are still you're still gonna see this task and have to press the button. It will then simply do a quick download. While these tasks play or are interacted with, enemy soldiers can now start showing up from nearby rooms or from the main door. So when you're doing these tasks, even though it's just a couple of seconds, you'll know there will be enemies coming for you. So you still have to make sure you actually do them pretty quickly or within a good time, because people are coming for you. The game isn't paused, the game just continues running. So your squad will of course defend you when you're doing these things, but still, you want to be there. Electronic doors, we had them already. That was one of these weird indicators above your head. Now it's actually moving a key card onto the display until all the lights are flashing, and then you can go through the door. Simple stuff, but it adds so much. Finally, one that does take a little bit more, but that's part of the whole fun of it, is cracking a safe. This one is very finicky. It will take you some time, but that does make sense. It's very simple to do. It's just finding the right spot to put that arrow is where the fun starts. And of course, cracking a safe while you're cracking, there might be soldiers coming into the room. So you still want to hurry up. So those tasks are now in the game. The proximity bomb I'm still working on also needs a task. Right now there's no task to it. It's just the same task as pushing the button. But it will be like maybe cutting wires or something like that. Although I don't think you can cut the wrong wire. Probably not, because I don't think that's, or maybe that's another option. That could actually be fun. Cutting the wrong wire, you better run for your life because the bomb is gonna explode. Is an option that I might just try and see how fun it is playing like that. So I'm gonna add a couple more tasks, and to be honest, I'm not sure why I never thought about these type of things in my games. Even thinking about Residual now, I could go back to Residual and add some of these tasks, like pulling a switch could actually mean you actually have to pull that switch in like a mini task like this. I'm not sure why I never came up with them. So many games have it. Thinking back, all the AAA games I've been playing, things like Uncharted, God of War, whatever, they even have things like this. Why did I never add them to a game? I guess I always thought it would be a lot of work, but I've been cranking out these tasks in half a week's time, and I had very little time this week, so in between stuff I've just been pumping in new tasks, creating the graphics for it, figuring out what to do and implementing it. It's just so simple. A good enhancement for the game. So where does that leave the game in current status? Mentioned it a few weeks ago, I'm working towards the Steam Fest to have a demo in there, which means that's, I think in June, I only have like 2, maybe 3 weeks to wrap up that demo, have a solid build up and ready to go in June, and then not tinker with that demo anymore and just build on the rest of the game. I think I can manage that. Right now the game is pretty playable. It's not completed. There's a lot of stuff that still needs to be added, but it's a very solid experience, and I think gamers will see and understand where this game is going to. I hope, at least. I think they should be able to see that. But you'll know how these things go on Steam. You'll never know. And what's left to do is a lot of little things. Right now we have just one gun, for example, and adding guns is very easy. It's just mostly cosmetic and very little game logic. Right now we have a gun that shoots bullets. We can do a machine gun that shoots bullets a lot faster. That's just changing one number. We can do a gun that shoots 3 bullets, just adding 2 bullets to the whole shooting part of the game. It's very easy to add new bullets. There will be some that require game logic, some weird stuff, or we'll figure it out. Not a lot of work, so I'm leaving that for later. Special abilities are in the game, but not all of them. And to be honest, I'm not really sure if they fit. They look awesome, they feel awesome, but most of the time I feel like I'm just playing the game without even thinking about the special abilities. Or at least the cool stuff like the laser eye or the big fists, they are great, but I rarely use them. The morphing is a lot more convenient and a lot more useful. So maybe I picked a couple of weird abilities, but they might actually have more purpose later on in a game if the gangs become tougher and more enemies come at you. So for now I'm leaving them in, of course, because they just look amazing. But I'm not sure yet how to give them more purpose or make them more part of the game itself. What else is on the list? Alien and sci-fi stuff isn't there yet. Part of the game. These special abilities, but also your DNA regeneration stuff, that's all has to be built into the game. It's part of the idea and the concept, because your team leader might die and you still get to continue. How is that possible? Aliens. How is anything possible? Aliens. Let's not go there. That's another different type of YouTube channel somewhere. A clear win and losing path. This game currently is, well, you can start building a city, you can start playing those missions, you can fail the mission and retry the mission, you can succeed in a mission and start another mission. There's no winning or losing. This could of course be fixed by doing this whole territorial stuff in the game map or in the map view, the city view. You somehow have to get all that territory in the city, but that also means that gangs should be able to grab back parts of the city. Maybe if you fail a mission, they will get a hold or a foot on your territory, and if you fail like 3 missions in an area, the area is lost and given back to the gangs. That could work, I guess. So something like that has to be added. Right now you can just continue and play forever, which is also fine, but we usually want a certain goal so that you can actually fail, which makes it more interesting to win. Other than that, the game is done, but there's still a lot of work left. And that's it for this week's video. I do encourage you to come hang out on the Discord. Somebody is working on Gunslugs for a new platform. Actually, Gunslugs on a new platform, but the platform is pretty old. It's the Mega Drive, the Sega Mega Drive. It has another name in other countries, other areas of the world. Anyway, just come hang out on the Discord and you can see it actually in action, and also as it's being developed, because he's posting videos every now and then of new stuff happening, the end bosses and things like that. It's pretty cool. Meganoid on Atari is also up and running, I think. Serious Lion and I think we have it up and running. I'm gonna mail that over to Atari and they can check it out on the actual hardware. We don't have a dev kit for it. They are kind of expensive. But we don't have a dev kit. We do have Linux versions, and pretty much it's a Linux PC type thing, so it should run. We'll find out hopefully sometime soon, and if that runs, all the other games that we've been porting to consoles will be able to run on Atari. Great times. Sega Mega Drive, Atari, Nintendo consoles. Games are showing up everywhere. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, and I will see you next week.
But excuse me, could you maybe talk about Regulator City in today's video?
Yo, can you talk about Regulator City in today's video?
Dude, can you talk about Regulator City in today's video?
Yo, dude, can you talk about Regulator City in your today's video, please? Yes, please. Regulator City!
What am I even doing with my life?